Hi there guys, my name is Dennis and welcome to the channel. First video, a little bit heated topic to actually touch on, especially on a first video. We're going to check out this Glastonbury topic with what just happened over the weekend, and I have an opinion or two. I'm going to try as much as possible to be objective and look at both sides, but at the end of the day, I do see what's happening and I'm able to actually understand that, yeah, sometimes unconventional methods have to be used, maybe on both sides as well. So let's check it out. So first video, I will basically look at what the mainstream media is saying and I will give my opinions on that one. And well, let's see,
News of the day, which is everything that went on at Glastonbury yesterday. The BBC, for a while now, have been broadcasting Glastonbury live, of course. It's a big cultural event, one of the biggest music festivals in the world, and it's just been getting more and more leftist. And so when they're broadcasting yesterday...
I think this is a right-wing media platform. You know what? Actually even more interesting.
It decided to put a delay on Kneecap, who are the awful, monstrous Irish chants.
It seems like both sides have strong language.
Group who seem to love terrorism and anti-Semitism in equal measure. And they thought, well, in case they say something controversial, because of course a member of that band had actually been arrested and released on bail for comments that had been made before, they decided they're going to put a delay on that in case they needed to dump anything contentious. Well, they didn't do the same to Bob Vylan, which is apparently a punk rap band. Two guys who both go by the name of Bob Vylan, who jump around on stage looking like they're homeless and say...
I don't think it's that simple to actually perform on stage. If it was, well, a lot of us would be doing it, same as what we're doing here on YouTube, It's simple to do. So you gotta give him props. It's not... might look homeless, yeah, but it's just not jumping around.
Saying pretty deplorable things. I mean, they shouted stuff like death, death to the IDF, which is calling for actual murder of people. Meanwhile...
Okay, his name is Bobby Vylan. Oh my. I think it's also in the name, I don't know, maybe the BBC thought it was like... well, I don't know, it's like the way rappers call themselves, like something like Public Enemy or something like that. And at the end of the day, like they will come with some controversial lyrics as it's expected. So I don't know. The BBC says it was caught off guard. And there's also the other part whereby the right wing is vilifying BBC for having aired this guy. And I'm on the other side, I'm saying, who would have expected it, or who would have thought this guy would have actually went on such a tangent? But again, I don't think it's actually he went on such a tangent. If you ask me, from the few clips I've seen, you know what? This is publicity on both sides. It kind of seems that way. You know what? Let me shut up. I don't know anything right now, so let's watch this.
Free! Alright, but have you heard this one though? Death to the ID, death to the IDF, death to the IDF. Death to the IDF.
Oh, that should definitely get across. Especially considering what just happened the last couple of weeks with the whole 12-day war, where Israel and Iran were going at it.
Hell yeah, from the river to the sea, Palestine must be, will be, inshallah, it will be free.
Okay, so what's BBC saying about this? So this is one of the few clips I actually found from the BBC that's actually deep diving into this whole situation. And on top of that, this was done just a few days. It's one of the latest, not latest, but it was done 2 days ago. So that means it was as close to the festival in terms of dates.
So there's a lot of news. You've made news on your programme. I've had the Health Secretary as well. But let's begin with the news from Glasgow.
Yes, you had a briefing from the BBC's Charlotte Gallagher, who's covering it. I mean, there's lots of controversy, isn't there? And government ministers are getting involved in it.
Yes, well, we were expecting the controversy to come from Kneecap, the Belfast rap trio. But in fact, what happened was it was the preceding act, Bob Vylan.
Yeah, he definitely caught them by surprise.
Who, for killing the IDF, basically, the death to the IDF.
And actually, it was because of the chanting about death to IDF soldiers that has prompted the Culture Secretary, Lisa Nandy, to speak to the BBC's Director General, Tim Davie. Because obviously the BBC were broadcasting it live.
Yeah, on the iPlayer. So when you had the Cabinet Minister Wes Streeting on, did you try and get a reaction from him on this?
Yes, we asked him, what did he think? And also reaction to the fact that the Israeli embassy has suggested this is potentially glorification of violence. Here's what he said. I want to ask you about Glastonbury and Bob.
Before we get to the interview of this guy, looks like his message got across. And for me, the most interesting part is the part whereby he's getting a lot of play, he's getting a lot of attention. And right now, I didn't know about Niqab, I didn't know about Bobby Vylan, but now I'm interested, Now I'm actually interested. I'm like, who are these, And at the end of the day, I will say this is kind of the same techniques that people like, I'd say, Donald Trump uses, the whole part whereby just say something ridiculous and you're always on the media and the media's mouths, and they kind of give you free promo. This could actually end up being a thing if it hasn't become a thing already, whereby people are just or artists are gonna be saying outlandish things just for the sake of publicity. But again, I also have another angle towards this whole thing, which I will provide, or which I will actually explain later.
And Kneecap, police in Somerset say they are looking at comments made on stage by both bands. The government has strongly condemned chants from Bob Vylan, who called for death to the Israeli military during their performance, which was broadcast live on the BBC. What did you make of that?
Well, firstly, we're probably giving him what he wants, which was publicity. Secondly, I thought the comments were revolting, and if I think about the war in Ukraine, no doubt I want Ukraine to win, but that doesn't mean I'm going to be
splitting hairs,
cheering on the deaths of Russians. I don't think anyone wins from that. And here's the other thing I'd say. We're talking about what happened on stage. Why don't we talk about, it's not criticism of your questions, by the way, but what's happened in the Middle East this week?
Yeah.
A Palestinian village in the West Bank set on fire in Taipei. I met with the Red Cross and Red Crescent this week about the humanitarian catastrophe that we have today, the risk of disease spreading over the summer and famine in the autumn. And the irony of that music festival is that Israelis were taken from a music festival, killed, raped, and in some cases are still being held captive. Whether you are Israeli or Palestinian, whether you are Christian, Jewish or Muslim.
Is this the October 7th incident, yeah? Yeah?
One of the most intractable conflicts on earth.
Well, Glastonbury have just posted a statement on their Instagram. With almost 4,000 performances at Glastonbury 2025, there will inevitably be artists.
Oh, wow. 4,000 performances. Jesus Christ. And, okay, so I have two takes here. So, first of all, I get the whole part where there's a lot of backlash, especially from the mainstream media, that these words or the chants or what the artists were actually saying were a little bit inflammatory. And on top of that, from what the mainstream media is saying is that this was actually promoting violence and incitement. And on top of that, deeply offensive. The thing for me is the part where there was a lot of uproar. If you ask me, it could have actually been handled in terms of like, okay, yeah, whatever, and move on. There's so many things happening around the world right now that they could have easily managed to not give it that much publicity. But at the end of the day, here we are. So, which brings me to the part whereby it's hard to actually just ignore it, considering it's happening. There's a lot of injustices happening, especially in the world, especially in places like Palestine, whereby almost 50,000 people just got murdered in the last couple of years. And on top of that, almost 100,000 to almost 200,000 people injured, and people being displaced, and a lot of land being taken. They decided to stand up and take the, how can I say, road less travel, where they decided, okay, let's call out the system, And they said, let's shout out at the rooftops like madmen, And the problem is, the media paid attention, and here we are covering this story. And I think it's gonna be a topic in the next coming few days, if not weeks. Because now I think what's happened is, number one, we've made this guy's name a household name. Not we, but the mainstream media has made this guy a household name. Now you have YouTubers covering this guy. You have people who didn't even know he existed that actually know he exists now. So that's actually one of the things that I would say is both a benefit on one side and a disadvantage on the mainstream media side. And the problem with the mainstream media side is they will always go where the views are. You understand? So at this point, He's managed to become a star just like that. And on top of that, he's managed to highlight exactly what it is that he actually wanted to highlight. The injustices happening in Palestine. The only thing is, I would say I'm disagreeing a little bit in terms of how he portrayed the message. But again, I don't know if there was any other way. And on top of that, I can't sit here and say what's the right way of actually portraying the message, because given the attention that actually, or the backlash and the tension that actually has come out of it, I would actually say he was kind of right on the money, considering he's actually been quoted saying that this is the language that these people speak, unfortunately. So at that point, you kind of have to agree with the guy. Then on top of that, there's also the other part about whereby the organizers of Glastonbury are saying that they are not like, or most people on the mainstream media side are saying that, hey, just shut up and sing. Like, just do your come sing. We don't want to hear about your political. This is not a political thing. We're here to have a good time, and that's it. But again, I didn't know this. I just found out that Glastonbury itself, the first Glastonbury festival was actually a political instigated or political motivated festival. That's the roots. I don't know where to begin, considering Glastonbury Festival started as a campaign for, I think it's denuclearization in 1981. You know what? Let me research and not talk out of my, you know what. So anyway, so here it is. So the name was changed to Glastonbury Festival, and Michael Eavis took the helm, running the event again. This was the first campaign for none. Just a sec. It's actually on the website, on the main website. Started in 1981. Name was changed to Glastonbury Festival. Michael Eavis took the helm, running the event again. But what was there before? This was the first campaign for Nuclear Disarmament Festival. Michael helped positively towards the peace movement by holding the festival at Worthy Farm to begin the mid-season, and said that with proper management, the festival could be turned into a profitable venture. So it wasn't even a profitable venture. So it was actually political. Agreement was reached with National CND, sending out information in their mailings, handing advance ticket sales, allowing the use of the CND logo. That's the campaign for nuclear disarmament. It was up to Michael to provide the money, arrange entertainment, and organize the event, liaise with the authorities, and organize market stalls. That it was decided to build a new pyramid stage. However, this time it was a permanent structure, doubling as a cowshed and animal food store during the winter months. It took 2 months to build the permanent pyramid stage out of the telegraph poles and the X-Mod metal sheets. The CND logo was not present at this festival as it was too heavy to lift into position. So you get the gist. So the whole thing is, it was It was hippies, you know. It was political. You get? It was political. So even when the reporter says that the festival has gone left-leaning, it was left-leaning, man. Like, this whole logo here is very left-leaning from way, way back. So I would actually add onto this and just say, the guy got his 15 minutes of fame and managed to highlight the injustices which are happening in Palestine. And people are paying attention, and they're actually trying to find information where they can actually get the information to see what's actually happening. You get? So that's pretty much it. That's my take. So thank you, and that's it.